one. Hey, what's going on, my man Manny? It is an honor and a privilege to have you here. And I love when I get to hang out in the green room, right? The green room is where things truly happen, is where we make the magic come true. Look, for those folks that don't know who you are, and so I don't have to read this long bio, we're going to send that out to everybody. Do you mind taking a minute and tell us a little about who is Manny and what is Manny up to these days, my man?
Sure, man. First, let me just say thank you for having me on here, and thank you to the audience for tuning in, supporting you, and today supporting me. I love it, and I aim to support in return. So, who am I? I'm a guy who, like many people in this space, has walked through hell and back, and now wants to help other people. I'm one of the minority who, instead of letting life break me, it made me stronger. And so what I do is I help visionary coaches and authors, service providers, that kind of thing. I help the ones who are professional, successful, and too busy to do it themselves, but need more exposure, more brand awareness, more clients. And mostly I help them by getting them on stages.
Now, for those folks that are watching and listening, what can they expect from you this evening? What's the topic you're really going to focus on during this particular conversation that you and I are going to have?
The topic I'm going to focus on during this particular conversation, I think, is going to be, unless you throw me a curveball, is
that always
going to
be, by
be,
the way, just to let you know.
And I'm going to roll with it. It's really going to be about. I think basically we could call it making money from speaking.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about some ways to make money from speaking that are sitting right in front of you, and for some reason you're not looking at them.
Now that brings me to, some folks like to talk about the big why, and I like to be on the other side if I can, and kind of talk to folks about what is their mission in life today. What's your purpose? Why do you exist today?
Man, that's actually an interesting question on a level that you might not be expecting, because I look at some of my mentors, I look at some of the people I respect. We have a mutual friend, Eric Swanson, and I was speaking at his event last weekend, and it's interesting, the question, because I think he's got mission in a way that I don't really feel I have it right now. And I bet you weren't expecting that answer. I mean, honestly, I know in a sense my mission is, it's not, well, here it is. I want to help people. And the people that I'm the best at communicating with and relating to and connecting with are those visionary coaches and visionary authors, visionary experts. Those are the people that it's easiest for me to talk to. That's why I chose them. It wasn't a lot of market research. It wasn't a calculated decision. And then the other part of my mission, quite frankly, is I'm out to make a whole lot of money. Ooh. But I am, man. I really am. And just to put to bed some of the common sort of reactions to a statement like that, I already know that I'm not gonna go sling drugs and turn out hoes to make money. I've processed enough of my, in my life to know that I'm not going to let that desire take me to doing anything that would hurt people. So I'm not worried about that. And I think maybe when it comes to the whole blunt conversation about money, some of us could do with just a little bit of toughening up and not being so sensitive about the subject. For me, it's I want to make a whole lot of money helping cool people to do more of what they want to do. How's that?
Man, that's perfect. And for the folks that are listening right now, I know you say helping a lot of cool people do cool stuff and make some good money. Do these people have to be veteran speakers? I know we'll get into this later. They have to be people that have gone through all this training and part of a national association and everything. Tell us a little bit about these folks, because some folks might be hey, I want to do it, but I've never been on big stages before. Take a moment to talk a little about that.
That's actually the exact sort of demographic that I want to serve. I want to serve the people who, again, they're visionary. They really have been through it And instead of letting it break them, they became dedicated to wanting to help others, right? That's a very common thread with everyone I wind up working with. Like, you walked through the fire, you were the survivor, the victim of abuse, whatever it was, and now instead of letting that define your life in a negative way, you let it define your life in a positive way. You commit yourself to helping other people. So there are a lot of those people, and they know that they'd either like to be speaking or they should be speaking, or a combination of both. And then they run up against that old catch-22. It's like, well, you need experience before we'll let you have an opportunity. Well, how do I get experience without an opportunity? Right. So to answer your question, man, I wouldn't turn away an experienced speaker, but it's really not for them. It's what I do is really actually not for them. So that was actually a really good question. It's for the people who have the fire, they have the passion, they have the magic, they have the thing, and they want and or know that speaking is something powerful to add to their arsenal, to add to their brand development, to add to their business. And then they go and they try to get gigs, and they're, first of all, they're looking for paid gigs in a lot of cases, which is a huge mistake, just a huge mistake. Second of all, they sort of, they get caught, like I said, in that trap of like, well, I need experience in order to get this opportunity, but I can't get the opportunity without experience. And those are the people I help.
Perfect. I'm loving it. And ladies and gentlemen, for those folks that are watching, I see you out there, Sean Harris. What's up, Jarika? Hey, Ola guy. Ola is in the house. Good to see you, my man. And so many folks that are tuning in right now. Carol, shout out to you. Look, if you're ready to be paid as a speaker, if you're ready to make a big difference in the world, if you know that this is your time, this is your time right now, then stay tuned. And don't worry, I'm getting the cue. They always give me the cue. What's up, Danny? Danny says he's here from Las Vegas, or West Virginia is in the house. Today is your January 1st. I hear you, my man. Type that down there. I see you. We're going to get started. I got to get going. To give me the cue in 5. Don't worry. I'm going to ask him. When we get back, I'm going to ask him to jump right into it and say, look, man, what's the real deal with people getting paid to be on stages? Like, what's the real deal? Now, he's either going to answer it or he's not. But he said tonight he'd answer any question I ask. So when we get back, let's find out what the real deal is. With that being said, what's up, Katisha Ship? Thanks for joining. With that being said, we're going to get started in 5. I love being in the green room. 4. This is so much fun. 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to... promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Woo-hoo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you the entrepreneur, you the speaker, you the author, you the coach, you the stay-at-home mom, you the stay-at-home dad, you the married person that works, to provide you with all of the resources necessary to execute 3 visions that I believe that you have. And these 3 visions, it takes resources, Michelle, which means it takes revenue, Michelle Collins. It takes resources, Lene Smith. That means it takes revenue. And Nicole Hurston Brown, thanks for joining. It takes resources. Let me tell you the 3 visions I believe you have. First, you have a vision for yourself, the way you want to live, the food you want to eat, the clothes you want to wear. You know what? It takes revenue. and therefore it takes resources. Manny's going to help us with that. It takes, some of you have a vision for your loved ones. I had the pleasure of taking Mother Dear to therapy, and I'm blessed that I'm able to do that with her. And then after that, she's getting a little older now. You know, we go to the store and she wants to buy groceries. I'm blessed that I can write a check to get her what she wants. You know what? It takes resources. And some of you, you have loved ones out there. You want to send your kids to a school of their choice. It takes resources. Well, we're going to be talking to Manny about that. And then some of you, you're in business because you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. Now, no matter who you believe in, I have to be a believer, but imagine if you're Noah. And it's in the good book, by the way. And Noah had this vision. It was given to him by God to save folks. And imagine he had no resources. There was no hammer, no resources. There was no nails, no resources. There was no wood or no team. He couldn't get the job done. And some of you, that's where you are right now. You're like, Shay, I just need some resources. Well, it takes revenue to buy those resources. So this morning, this afternoon, if you're ready to be paid to be a speaker, you're ready to get your message out to a larger audience, then Manny is the guy for you. So Manny, thanks for joining, man. I'm not going to read the bio. We were in the green room. Look, for those folks that tune in, here's the question I promised to ask. Number one is, what's the biggest challenge facing speakers today getting on stage? What's the biggest challenge they're facing today?
The biggest challenge is competition. Plain and simple. You have one slot on stage. You're going to have, if I had to guess, 50 to 100, maybe sometimes more. Like, there's a lot of competition for every stage. So one of the things that people need to understand, well, there's a couple of important things here. One is you have to distinguish yourself. You have to be focused on your personal brand at all times on social media if you want to be a professional. And if you want to be a professional, you have to act and represent and look like a professional. The other is, I think that a lot of people don't realize that this is a stage, that a podcast is a stage, that a summit is a stage, that, and then back to the 3D physical world, smaller stages that are very, very powerful would be like your Elks Club, your Rotary Club, your Lions Club, your high schools, colleges. So it's sort of a lack of comprehensive vision would also be important. Like, you have to know how many stages are out there, and you have to know how to cut through the noise and stand out.
You know, I love it. And welcome, Tommy Jones is out there right now. What's up, Tommy Jones? He's a bad mamma jamma out there in Houston, Texas. He's on stages all over the world. Thanks a lot for joining. Tony Moore, one of the baddest attorneys I know in the world, up there in Philadelphia, by the way, helping folks make sure to get everything in order on their business. Michelle Collins out there. Thanks for joining. Someone wanted to let us know they're from Michigan, by the way. I don't know why these folks like to get their own shout outs. That's good. Her name is Julia Salih. She says, hi, I'm from Michigan. What's up, Michigan? All right. Thanks for joining. You guys are wonderful. Look, you have our permission right now. Unless Manny says you can't do it, but I think he said you can. He said I can do whatever I want. Hit the share button right now. No,
by
hit
all
the
means.
Watch party button right now.
Yeah.
And when you hit that share button, write these words: get paid on stage. Just go ahead and write that down right now. Get paid. Get on stage, get paid. Get on stage, get paid. Just hit the share button, hit the watch party button. And Manny promised tonight or this morning, this afternoon, to give the best that he has because he helps visionary coaches and leaders get on stages. Take a moment, if you would, and just give us your thought process on some folks that pay to be on stage. You know, there's some folks might say, well, people have called me all the time and said, if I write a check for $1,000, I get 20 minutes. Or if I write a check for $500, I can be on their podcast. And I know we're going to get into some other techniques, but this is a burning question that people say, should they do it? Should they not do it? What's your view of the world, my man?
So think of paying to get on stage as the same as any other investment that puts you in front of your ideal audience, right? So running ads is in essence, it's very similar to paying to get on stage. If you run ads, you have to be prepared. If you pay to get on stage, you've got to be prepared. The biggest problems I see with I call it paying to play in the industry. That's what we call it. The biggest problems I see with when people pay to play is they're not ready. You got to be good. No, let me take that back. You got to be really good. You got to have your story dialed. You got to have your how are you going to attract leads? How are you going to turn those leads into calls? You have to have all this stuff dialed. Something people don't really understand is how much has to go right for a talk to really succeed? Right? Because it looks effortless when somebody great does it. When you see somebody, even if it's not somebody that their story really grabs you or wows you, it looks a lot easier than it is, as you know. It looks a lot easier than it is. It's one thing to be one of 500 people looking at someone. It's another thing entirely to be the person 500 people are looking at. And you and I know it feels really good. Like, it feels really, really good. But back to paying to play. As a rule, no. My own opinion, my own feeling. But can it be very, very valuable and very lucrative? Absolutely. It really can. But you've got to be ready.
You know, when you say be ready, for those folks that are tuning in, Nico, Sherry, hello, welcome. Thanks so much for joining, by the way. Marcella Bassman Shepherd is on. Thanks for joining. And so many of you right now that are joining, thanks so much. We're talking to the one and only Manny Wolfe. He helps visionary coaches and leaders get on stages. Let me ask the question. Take a moment and kind of share for the person out there that says, and we'll get into a next segment about their story, but they might be thinking right now, I don't have a story. I don't have a message. I'm not as good as the other person over there. What do you say to that person? And then we'll talk about getting paid, but what do you say to that person right now that's watching?
If you're in a situation where you want to speak, but you say you don't have a story, you're wrong. You do have a story. The problem you're making is, what's it called? It's called, well, basically it's comparisonitis. That's essentially what it is. You're comparing yourself to some wow story you heard or some wow speaker you saw or whatever it is. And just because I got beat up as a kid more times than you doesn't mean you don't have a story. Just because I was more strung out on drugs than you doesn't mean you don't have a story, right? If you're sitting there feeling like your story isn't good enough to share, there's a whole audience of people out there who feel the same way. Guess what? That's your people.
That's your people. Now, if you can, do you mind breaking down maybe 3 things? Start with one, but 3 things that someone could do to right now go from where they are, and this is a loaded question, to at least starting to get on stages. And once again, I love how you framed the conversation earlier. Stage could be a live event. Stage could be like we're doing right now. But what are 3 things you typically recommend, knowing that people are at different places, different spaces right now? What's your recommendation, my man?
So it really does depend on where you are at right now. But the first thing you almost everyone has to do is you have to make your Facebook profile and your LinkedIn profile look professional. And not just look professional, they should represent what you do. This is, there's so much more to talk about with that, so much more. We don't have time to go into specifics, but professional images of you speaking, those are very powerful pieces. Put them right where people can see them. So that's one thing. Really understand what your digital real estate is, right? It's a billboard for you. It's an advertisement for you. Treat it as such. That's one thing. Another thing is I hear a lot of people, well, I can't afford this. I can't afford that. I can't afford, it costs nothing to start developing your brand on, let's use Facebook because that's where 3 billion people are. It costs nothing except your time and your willingness to learn to start building your brand on Facebook. This is a hugely important thing. One of my clients, actually many of them, but one in particular she's blowing it out of the water. She has been invited to speak in probably 9 times in 9 months since we've been working together, and never once looked for a speaking gig. Never once lifted a finger to prospect for speaking gigs. Got invited to speak. Why? Because she does live streams every day. She does them on topics that are relevant and then position her as an expert. And she's taken the time to make sure that they're going out to an audience that will appreciate them. Like, it's that easy. Right? It's that easy. I have been in the last 6 months, I've been invited to speak about 8 times. This is invited, guys, by the way, invited, not had to prospect for it, not applied, invited. People are always surprised when I turn down most of the gigs that I'm offered. And that's just because I'm in what Buddha called my third life. And what I mean by that is like I put over 1,400 hours in on stage, and I just don't have the itch like I used to. I will go speak, right? If I think it's a really meaningful or a useful, high leverage kind of opportunity. But like after living such an insane life, I really like the peace and tranquility and serenity of my home now in a way that I never did before. So, but that's just me. The takeaway is not, wait a minute, he's talking about speaking, but he says no to the gigs. The takeaway is I've been invited to speak like 9 times in 6 months. That's the takeaway. You know, people just, hey, you should come speak at wherever. And it's all from seeing me on social media. It's all from, you know, I show up on Facebook. Before we go too far into that, let me get back on sort of more important stuff. I think that trying to give a master class in how to show up with your personal brand might be sort of going off the reservation just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. So one thing, dial in your social media, right? Dial in your Facebook and your LinkedIn. If you're big on Instagram, dial that in too. If you're big on YouTube, dial that in too. But understand, people will first look at you on Facebook and or LinkedIn. It's the first place decision makers will tend to look. So the second thing you can do to start getting on stages right away is tell people you want to get on stages. Ta-da! Like you got to put it out there. You got to put it out there. In no way should you ever allow yourself to be a best kept secret.
And when you say that, let me jump in real quick. I know you're on a point here. Mm-hmm. You say tell people that you want to speak on their podcast or speak on their stage.
Yeah.
Can you kind of frame the conversation for folks how they go about doing that? Is it something they say, hey, put me on your stage? Or do they call people and say, I see you have an event. Do you have an open space? I mean, I know you're not going to get into the hardcore selling because that's not what you do. You come from the heart. So take a moment and say, you know, if you're wondering what do I say or how do I approach it? Well, you got the expert right now, and I just asked him the question. This is something, you know, maybe paying for it, one of his boot camps somewhere, but he's going to share it for you right now. So thanks a lot for Michelle Pillar that's out there watching, and Deborah Gardner. I don't know if you're connected with her. You got to connect with her. She's out of Phoenix, Arizona. Fantastic person. She's out watching right now and speaks as well. Go ahead and say, how do you tell people I'm available without seeming like you have nothing to do with your time? You know what I mean? Like you're not begging.
I would put somewhere on my profile, you know, for speaking inquiries, send me a private message with something in the heading, you know, like whatever it is for you. Send me a private message that says, you know, I want, you know, I don't know, pick whatever you want to say. But specify one thing that when new people send you a private message who maybe aren't on your friends list, you can recognize right away what it's about. Another thing is to put right in your profile, just right in the banner, put available to speak. Another thing is on live streams. Live streams are really, really, if you're not doing them, you should be. And one of the great tools of a live stream, one of the great strategies of a live stream is to do an ending, right? An intro and an ending. And in the ending, or sometimes in the intro, if you want, just tell people, you know, I'm available to speak. Just ask. Also, what you said is a really legit way to go about it. If you see a conference you want to be part of, reach out, you know, start to learn the art of capturing attention of those kind of people, the decision makers, the people that can put you on stages. Networking is huge.
This is
absolutely.
This is really good stuff so far. And I want to thank our good friend Eric Swanson with Habitude Conference. If you haven't found Habitude Conference, you can go to habitudeconference.com, and he has conferences all over the country. You were just speaking at one of his conferences. You were talking about
last weekend
in the green room. Take a minute and talk about the importance of speaking at that conference. And Eric's the one that connected you and I. And I asked the question, hey, by the way, I'm looking for folks who help other people get on stages or help people be able to get their message from the audiences. I got the guy for you. I said, how much? Shay, I'm going to call in a favor. And so here you are, my man. I certainly appreciate that. But talk a little about the conference and the importance of Habitude Conference at ericswanson.com. does.
Yeah. So it's the Habitude Warrior Conference.
I keep saying Habitude Conference. Habitude Warrior. Thanks a lot, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea there was Eric wanted to do a project where he could promote his idea that habits and attitudes are the important things in our success. And that's what Habitude is. It's the combination of those two words. I was kind of left speechless a little bit and taken aback after going and speaking, because he puts a lot of love into those conferences. I didn't know what I expected exactly, but I was really amazed at the level to which he just sort of pours himself and his desire to serve other people into those events. Shameless plug, there's one coming up in the OC, Orange County, California, at the end of next month. I get nothing for telling you this. I'm I'm promoting Eric. Actually, wait, I take that back. I'll be speaking there.
You'll be speaking. So we're saying, let's go here real quick for those folks that are watching, and we're gonna come right back. This is very, very important. If you're out there right now, and I want to do this because Eric, he's such a giver. He kept me busy for a whole day. You guys would not believe the story. I got to tell you the story one day, but let's just show what's going on. Okay, for those folks that are out there, you go to HabitudeWarriorConference.com. Now, when we come back, the person we're speaking to right now talks about how he helps folks get on stages just like this right here. And you can go there, and once you go there, I think this is it right here. Yeah. Once you go there, you'll be able to see when the event is. There's different locations. I can't wait to meet him in North Carolina and in Phoenix and so many places. But the person you're talking to, for some of you see in a conference like this, you're like, whoa, you mean to tell me I can get on a stage like this? It's possible? Yeah. Oh, wait, Shay, I've never been to Toastmasters. Don't worry, I'm going to ask about that. Shay, I've never even had a speaking opportunity where I went to National Speakers Association. I'm going to ask them, what do you do to get around those questions? Shay, don't really have a bunch of gigs. People have paid me $10,000 to $15,000, but I'm ready. Right. I've been studying. Right. I'm a student. I've got a story. I'm ready. Right. When we come back, I'm going to say, Manny, talk about what they need to do if they've never been to Toastmasters, and also share with us, what about the money? Someone say ching ching. If you're out there watching right now, you're ready to be paid, and you want to have more meaning in the world and make more money. You want to have more impact in the world and make more income, and you're ready to make $1 and a difference at the same time. Holla at your boy. Look right below the video. And write these words. Make $1 and a difference at the same time. You know why? Because it's your time. Just look right below the video and write make $1 and a difference at the same time. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. He's going to answer those questions. Don't worry. He promised to do that. And then you're going to learn how to make the ching ching, the money from the stage. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. We'll go over to Sean Harper, a former NFL player. He shares a message about the law of capacity. We'll be back in just a moment. Hey, your boy Eric is watching right now. Just notice Eric's watching.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And we keep delivering as we promised we would, my man. He's out there. D. Wilkins, thanks a lot. V Speak Life is in the house. Edeline, what's going on? Lene Smith put ching ching. Yeah, don't worry. When we come back, I'm going to start with the question. It's time for ching ching. He said get on stages, but he also said get paid. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Sean Harper, motivational speaker, author, investor. I love investing in people because people have the potential of generating years of dividends. This is my January 1st. And as I'm moving in January 1st, I have to be mindful of the laws, the law of capacity. Now, if you know me, I break all the rules, but I never break laws. If you break laws, laws will break you. Laws are unchangeable. So the law of capacity is that you will grow in proportion to your environment. It reminds me of a story of a guy named Walt Disney. We all know Walt Disney, but Walt Disney started out after a couple failed ventures. He started out with Disneyland, south of Anaheim, California. And he had great success, but he had one challenge. He was landlocked. And so he couldn't expand. And so he secretly, anonymously, began to buy up land in the Orlando area. And he formed shell companies, and he brought 500 acres here, 100 acres here with this company, and maybe 2,000 acres with this company. And he went on, and a investigative journalist caught on to it, but not until he amassed over 26 to 30,000 acres. And now that man, who is now deceased, still has land that's not been developed. His dream was huge, but his capacity was small. One of the problems or challenges that we face as entrepreneurs, as business owners, business leaders, is that we run out of capacity. When there's stress in the business, when there's stress as an entrepreneur, is usually one or two problems. A, you don't have the systems, or B, you have a lack of capacity. That is a spiritual law. And I often compare spiritual laws or look for evidence of spiritual laws in nature. You take a shark, put it in the fish tank, it gets this big. Take that same baby shark, put it in the ocean, it gets this big. Before you dream, or right after you dream, the first thing you do is you begin to build your capacity. Before you build up, you gotta build down. Thank you. Play to win. Bye-bye.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission really is to provide you, the entrepreneur, to get up every day to work so hard, the backbone of our country, wherever you are, but at least in this country here, with the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision that you have for the people you were called to serve. And that's what Manny's here for today. Many of you wrote before the commercial, make $1 and a difference at the same time. So let me ask them the question. Number one, what do you do if you don't have all the letters behind your name, and you don't have the Toastmasters letters, and you don't have the National Speakers Association letters, and you have a check saying, I got paid $10,000 to be on a stage? What do you say to that person? And then we'll get right to the money.
I say it doesn't matter a lick. It doesn't matter at all. In fact, I'm the anti-Toastmasters guy. I think Toastmasters is, how controversial do I want to be? Let's put it this way. For every good speaker I've seen come through Toastmasters, there are about 1,000 that are stuck in rigid routine and old school training. And look, if you want to be a good speaker, learn how to connect. Don't worry about counting your ums and your uhs. Learn how to connect. Learn what it means to connect with the audience. So that's what I say. If you're not an NSA member, doesn't matter a lick. The speaking industry has shifted dramatically, especially in the last couple of years. And then I guess. Yeah, just don't worry about that stuff at all. That's just your head getting in the way of you starting. That's really all that is. Anytime you tell yourself stuff like that, I don't have any of those accreditations. I'm not NSA. I'm not Toastmasters. I'm not. I don't have a $10,000 check picture of me speak. None of that stuff. So how's that?
I think that's right on the money. There's someone by the name of Greg Walker that says Toastmasters can make you a robot. Isn't that funny?
Well, Greg Walker went through Toastmasters, but he's one of the ones who came out the other side. He's an animal, but that doesn't mean Toastmasters will make you an animal. Okay. Right. Okay. Greg was going to be good. Greg, if you're watching, brother, you were going to be good either way, man. I know Greg. Greg is he's a breed apart.
Okay. Okay, good. He's making all these comments. That's good. Teresa Royal Brown, what's going on? She's a bad mamma jammer as well as an event planner. So take a moment, if you will, and talk about how do folks get paid on the other side. Talk a little about maybe 3 ways that can take place. And for all of you right now, I want you to tune in and watch like you've never watched before, and listen like you've never listened before, because this could be the breakthrough that you've been looking for. Yeah, you can still serve, but you can speak, and I'm hearing you can be paid. Take it away, Manny.
So the first thing to understand is that for every paid gig you're likely to land, you can probably land 10 to 15 unpaid gigs. So that's about the ratio. If I had to ballpark the ratio, and the reason is because everybody's hubris tells them they have to be a paid speaker. And when they say paid speaker, what they're thinking is, I need to get a check for talking to the audience. Now, I am not against that. However, every single speaking opportunity has the potential to give you powerful ROI, and I'm just going to assume there's one person out there who doesn't know what that means. It means return on investment, or ROT, return on time, ROE, return on energy. You have to know how to get it, though. So there's a few things. First of all, this is really, really important. Rehearse your visualize and rehearse your negotiation with the event planner, the decision maker, long ahead of time. I want you guys all to say with me, even if you've never spoken on stage before, I want you to practice saying out loud, my normal speaking fee is $2,500. And put some bass in your voice when you do it. You know what I'm saying? Practice saying that. And then what's going to happen is you're going to watch the other person. They're either going to say, okay, that's great. Where do I send it? Or they're going to flinch. They're going to freeze. They're going to do something. And you say, and by the way, I borrowed this from a friend of mine who's also a Dynamo speaker, a friend of mine, Cornell. You say, when you see them flinch, when you see them resist, when you see that it's going to be an issue, you say, but under certain circumstances, I'm happy to waive my fee and or negotiate to find a win-win.
Say that one more time. It's very powerful language that he's sharing with you. He's not saying be sleazy. He's not saying be salesy.
No,
he's not saying try to convince
that.
someone or influence someone. Everyone jot this down. Your words can make you rich. Your words can make you rich. And that's exactly what he's sharing. So frame that one more time. I know you just said it, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's very powerful. And for many of you, this is the missing piece right here. It really is.
It really is. Yeah. So you get used to saying what your speaking fee is, whether you've ever made it or not before. Because if you don't practice ahead of time, somebody's going to ask you what your speaking fee is, and you're going to choke on your own tongue. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to say, what's your normal speaking fee? And you go, and we don't want you to do that. No. Me and Che, we're looking out for you. We don't want to see that happen to you, right? Yeah. You're in the nest now. We got you. So what I want you to practice saying is my normal speaking fee is $2,500, $3,000. And then be ready. You have to be able to read the other person here. A lot of times what'll happen is they'll pause, they'll flinch, they'll do something, they'll give a little tell. And at that point you say, however, I'm happy to waive my fee and or get creative to create a win-win. Let's talk about that. I'm happy to waive my fee under certain circumstances or get creative so that we can find a win-win. Now, you may have never been paid to speak before, but you may be an author, right? You may have a book. It is not at all uncommon for an event to buy 100 copies of your book or 50 copies of your book. You can say things like, can you, in lieu of paying me, can you make 3 warm referrals after you see me speak? Make 3 warm referrals to colleagues who might want my services.
Ooh,
right? So you're thinking like, another very, very good one. Have you ever paid for professional headshots?
Yeah, I have.
They're expensive, right?
Yeah.
They're expensive. So one of the things you could say there is, are you going to have a professional photographer on site? Because I want professional shots of me on stage. Are you going to have a videographer on site? Can you guarantee me, can we talk about getting me video and or still photo collateral? Mm-hmm. Those things alone, if you did a free gig where they gave you pro video of you speaking and pro pictures of you speaking, that would be easily $2,000 to $5,000 of value, right? I mean, and it could be more. Jay, I'm sure that you've seen videographers who are much more expensive than that.
Yes.
as I have, right?
Seriously,
so you got to be thinking about value exchange, not always just money. You're always looking for ROI. So now that's just with the event producers. you have to have a great talk, and that needs to be a separate interview, a separate discussion. It needs to be a separate, like, graduate level college class, because having a great talk is no joke, and you do have to have one. And I'm not trying to scare you away, but you got to have a great talk. And if you have a really, truly great talk, what I promise you, I assure you is going to happen is people are going to come up to you after you give that great talk. Guess what we call those people? Well, first we call them fans. Guess what else we call them? We call them leads. You guys feeling me?
Yeah.
So these people are leads. So what if you had some sort of a free gift already prepared? For instance, coming on this show, I have a link I'm going to give Che to give you guys where you can get my book for free.
Did you say free?
Yeah.
I don't recall you saying free. Did you say FREE?
Free.
Fred. So there's no Cash App needed here, right? There's no
Cash App needed here. But let's look at it. Let's have a teaching moment here.
Yeah,
here's what's going to happen for you to get the book.
Yeah.
For you to get the book, you're going to have to opt in, which means you're going to have to give me your email address.
Right.
Now you're in my world. And it's not like I'm like a mad scientist, like, but we're trading my gift to you for our agreement that I can then communicate with you. I can keep talking to you. And I promise you that when my emails I send out normally is like once or twice a week. They're all value. Every so often I'll do something where I'm actually asking people if they want a service, but not very often. And so that's it, right? I've captured leads and now I'm talking to them. You can do the same thing. In fact, you don't have to be as passive as I like to be. You can give a free gift at the end of your talk and have it lead right into booking a phone call or right into a sales discussion. So let's do a little bit of what I call back of the napkin calculations, right? If you want to get paid $2,500 a talk, realistically, it's going to take you a minimum of a year before you start regularly getting $2,500 talks. Truthfully, most of us, it takes more like 2 years. Because that's 2 years until you work your way up to $2,500 speaking fees, right? Mm. And that's not exorbitant. I'm not exaggerating here. Right. Now let's say you're savvy at negotiating the talk. Let's say you've got a good free gift. And let's say you've got a talk that brings people first to tears and then to their feet. Right? And then you offer them a free gift after you've given them a moment. The speaking itself, the talk itself is not meant to, and people don't understand this, it's not meant to change lives. It's meant to open a new idea. It's meant to give a shift in thinking that they can then go through to change their life. And, it stands to reason that if you're a sincere person, you're good at what you do, you have a powerful talk, people are going to want to hire you to help them make that change. So here's the back of the napkin calculation. Let's say your coaching program, and Che, I know you'll back me up on this too. Yeah. Your coaching program is $2,500. That is average, right? For the industry, that is those are all day long. Mm-hmm. That's not an expensive program. So now let's say your talks, you're averaging rooms of 50 people. Again, conservative. And let's say you're getting 2 to 3 clients from each one. Mm-hmm. Now, in the time that the person who insisted on being a paid speaker in the conventional sense, it took them 2 years to get to $2,500 a talk. Meanwhile, you're making $5,000 to $7,500 per talk for every talk. And in that same 2-year span, your audiences are going to get bigger. Your coaching programs are going to get more expensive. You're going to get more confident. And ballparking it, the person who insists on being paid and pays their dues doing free talks to get paid is in 2 years, they're probably going to make about 35, 40,000, 50,000 from speaking. Whereas you, the one following everything I just showed you, is going to make like 300,000 from speaking. That's the sound of a grand slam going over the back fences. That's what that is.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. That was good. The sound of a grand slam going over the fence.
That's right. That's the sound of me hitting it out of the park. Look, you guys, the free gigs are infinitely. Here's the secret. Free gigs for most of us, most of the time, all things being held equal, infinitely more profitable than paid gigs. My good buddy Eric, he gets paid. I'm not going to drop how much he gets paid, but he commands a high stage price. And most of you will never get to what Eric charges, but if you took the free gig path, get there easy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm smelling what you're cooking in the kitchen over here, man. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm there with you. I'm feeling it. And he did mention his book, and you're going to get the free book. And this is very, very important. We're going to get into the book. Matter of fact, we're going to get into tonight. We're going to have a whole episode around the book, by the way. He doesn't know that yet, by the way. But I wanted him to talk tonight about getting paid and getting on stage. But we are going to talk about the book when we come back from a commercial. For those folks that are like, I want the free gift share. I don't want to wait. He's going to send you the link. I want to get it now. Yeah, I'm going to post it over into the group, happyentrepreneurs.tribe.com, happyentrepreneurs.tribe.com. We're going to post it for all the members, but some of you are here right now. Some of you are listening to the replay. Some of you are watching right now on Apple TV or Amazon Fire or Roku, or others are listening to the podcast. You can participate as well. Here's what I'm going to allow you to do right now. You don't have to scroll through Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe and try to find this link. I'm going to give you a number to text. You can text the number now. Once you text the number, we'll do that. And then when Eric gives me the link, I'm going to text it to everybody. Isn't that cool? Like, you're going to get it instantly. Now, he's already said you have to opt in. I love how he was upfront. He pre-framed the conversation so you knew what was going to happen before it happened. Yeah. And he's going to provide value in exchange for information. Perfect. Here's what I want you to do. For those folks that, yep, I'm in. I want my free FREE, no charge, no cost, no catch, if I could add that to him, for you. Yeah. You text the word showtime. Because this is your time. It's time to show up. It's time to show out. And it's time to make a difference in the world. You text the word show time, all one word, show time, all one word, to this number, 202-999-3515. Let me give that to you again. Oh, the number's already below me. Isn't that pretty cool? Text a different word, though. Text the word show time. Text the word show time to 202-999-3515. Now, once you do that, there's going to be some instructions, but I'm going to send the link to everyone. You're going to get it within today. Like, you're going to get it like, I don't know, I'll say within 24 hours if you text it in. You'll probably get it within 5 hours, depending on where you are. If you're watching live now, you're going to have it like within an hour after the show ends. For those folks that are texting in, you'll get it at a different time because it depends on what time it is when you do that. We're going to make sure that happens, and we're going to post it in the group as well. Quick question. I'm just curious. What's one of the reasons you decided to give away the whole book, man? I'm just curious. Most folks give away a chapter. I'm just curious. This had nothing to do with you guys. Y'all can eavesdrop on my conversation for a moment.
Yeah.
But what's one of the reasons you decided to give the whole? He could have gave it. Most people give like chapter 1. It's like a teaser. But he's like, no, dude. I'm gonna give the whole book away, and it's called the Unbreakable.
The Tao.
Unbreakable Man.
Yeah, so it's called The Tao of the Unbreakable Man.
The Tao of the Unbreakable Man. And we're going to, when we come back from commercial, I'm going to ask him to talk about that in detail. But what's one of the reasons you decided, you got to text in now, the universe rewards people who take action differently than those that don't. So you must text 202-999-3515. Text the word showtime. Now I'm going to post it into the group Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, but some of you don't want to go scrolling through everything to find it, right? You want it like now. You want it personal. We're going to do that. Why'd you give the whole book away, man? Why?
I mean, why not? Why not? I still to this day get people who I don't know who send me messages talking about how that book was so important to them. And I love training people, and I love coaching, and I love all those things, and I love making money. But one of the best feelings that I get is when somebody reads what I've been through, what I've been able to overcome, what I've been able to do. And, then they reach out to me and tell me how big of an impact it had on them. That feels good. I mean, it feels really good.
Man, well, we come back since he opened the door up, and the guy's almost in overtime right now. But I'm gonna ask him to take a few minutes and talk about the book, the message, and what's in there. When we come back, we'll be back in just a moment. What I want you to know is that you can get on stages and you can be paid. And I believe that Manny, he's giving you the context, but I believe that behind the scenes, he's a guy that I'm going to recommend you can connect with. And he has a way and a process and a methodology to help get you from where you are to where you want to be. And what I like most about is he said, you don't have to be someone that's been doing this for 100 years. You don't have to have a bunch of letters behind your names, and there's no certification. I didn't hear him say you got to be a certified coach or a certified this. He said, just show up and be ready. Is that what I kind of heard earlier?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we go to the commercial, I know, guys, just wait a second. What's one of the reasons why this is what your mission in life is, to help folks that need to get their message out, share their expertise, and share their experience with the world? Why is this so near and dear to you, man? I'm just curious. It had nothing to do with making money. I'm just curious, why is it so near and dear to you? Sounds personal.
Well, the part about helping is personal. The part about really wanting to, I think on a personal level, every time I do that, I'm proving that I'm more than people told me I was. I'm proving that I'm more than life reflected to me. I'm proving that I'm more than my circumstances. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like for me, that's what keeps me doing the work. Because I mean, we could talk about it. We could talk about it when we talk about the book or whatever, but I'm not the guy who came from a healthy, well-adjusted, affluent childhood. That was not me. And the world didn't. I never gave myself a chance, and neither did the world.
And neither did the world. I love that. When we come back, we'll be back in just a moment. We're speaking to the one and only Manny Wolfe. We're going to get into a little bit about his book and why it's so important to him. I'm going to ask him, talk about today is my January 1st. We're coming down the home stretch. He's in overtime, man, but he has a heart to give and a heart to serve. And we had no idea this was going to happen, man, but he's really giving you the best that he has. And certainly we appreciate that. With that being said, we're going to go over to Rob Howes, and Rob Howes is over in Laurel, Maryland. He talks about be present where you are. How important is that? We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Take it away, guys.
Hey guys,
all right.
Me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a question.
No, it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st, Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got. Because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, to inspire, and to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all the resources. It takes revenue to purchase resources, but all the resources, it takes money to get most of the resources, with all the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And this morning, this evening, this afternoon, no matter what time it is, wherever you are in the world, we're here with Manny Wolfe, and he works with visionaries to help them get on stages and to get paid. They can be a visionary, they can be a coach, they can be a consultant. And he does it with everyday folks. We're going to a segment now. For some of you, this might be very new, and for all of you who enjoy this, it's one of my favorite segments. Of course, they're all my favorite segments, or we wouldn't do them, right? But this is really one of my favorite segments. It's called Today is My January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing, that's one of our core values, is one of our core beliefs at the Happy Entrepreneur Show, that today is my January 1st. I get a new start. Today is my January 1st. I get a do-over. Today is my January 1st. My past does not equal my future. And to frame the conversation, January 1st moments happen every single day. You have to wait for January 1st. When you make a decision that can change the trajectory of your life, that's a January 1st moment. You go to the gym or you sit on the stage, sit on the couch. That's a January 1st moment. You either eat hamburgers and French fries or you go to your refrigerator, you open it up, and there's some kale in there, and there's some broccoli in there, by the way. There's some celery. And you're eating the right foods. That's a January 1st moment. My first question to Manny is, when he hears the words, today is my January 1st, what goes to your mind, man? Why is that so important for folks?
Well, I think it's important to realize, to remember, we probably all realize it on some level, but to remember and to believe that you can change like that, right? Tony Robbins says all decision happens in the snap of a finger, in the blink of an eye. Decision happens in an instant. Change happens in an instant. It happens at the speed of decision. And at the risk of saying what you just said, our past only equals our present and our future when we decide that it does. And I guess that's why that's so important to me. It's like you can take a new path any time you want, like whenever you decide to.
Yeah. So for many folks that are out there right now, you can look right below the video, just like Michelle Collins done, D. Wilkins. You can write those words. Today is my January 1st. Yeah, you're going to get on some stages. Today is my January 1st. You're going to be paid. Today is my January 1st. This is my time. If you don't mind being personal for a moment, like you've been, do you mind telling us about give us a story maybe. What was your January 1st moment? The moment that you drew a line in the sand, you planted your flag and said, this is what I'm going to do. This is the new me.
So, yeah, that's there are two really big pivotal moments in my life. One was the moment that I decided I was no longer going to be the drug addict, frankly, and a criminal and an inmate. And, I decided it was like that stuff was done. That moment was the moment where I found myself speaking. By the way, there's a big difference between getting enraged and shooting someone and talking methodically with one person about going down, hunting down, and shooting another person. It's a big difference in the eyes of the law. One of those is called premeditated. And I found myself making premeditated plans with one person to hunt down and attempt to kill another person. And that was my first real pivotal moment. That was my first, I have to leave this life. And so then many years later, the next pivotal moment was I had just lost my apartment, my car, my driver's license had expired or had been what's the word?
Revoked.
Revoked. Thank you. And the power. So I lost my power, my driver's license, my apartment, and my car in like a 4-hour stretch. Just, life just said, you got to stop half-assing it. You have to. We're going to just push you against the wall here. We're going to give you just enough oxygen to breathe, and you got to get in gear. And it wound up leading to a family meeting. And my family doesn't do family meetings, and so when this was suggested, I was like, "Whoa, it really made the hairs on my neck kind of tingle." I went anyway. And I was in crisis. I was in, as one friend of mine put it, he said, "You think you're circling the drain, but you're in the drain." That's what he said to me. And that was like, okay, I gotta get serious here. So I go to this family meeting against my better judgment, and it winds up being a 2.5-hour dumping session. My whole family just dumping on me all of their just every little thing they could exhume. And so that moment was probably the moment where I really got it. I really understood. I can't operate seeking the approval of my family and be the person I know I'm supposed to be. I got to make a choice here. And I chose to be the person that I know I'm supposed to be. I chose to commit to that path, which meant pretty much so far to this day, leaving my whole family behind, cutting my family out of my life. Now, I'm just going to say this. I still love those people. I do not speak with them. I never will again. I just want to amend that from things I've said in the past. But what I realized was that I was serving two masters. And so that was my big January 1st moment. That was the one where it was like, oh man, am I making a new decision?
Yeah. Well, thank you first for being transparent. My question would be, what's one of the things that you had to do to turn things around? What are 3 steps that you took to really start getting on the right path for yourself personally, where you have your business now, you're serving other folks?
Yeah.
What were some of the steps you took to get on that?
That's 100% my wife. 100. She gets all the credit for that. And I met her. She was different than every other girl I had ever dated. She was so different. I tried to push her away. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't know what to do with somebody who was just kind and sweet and thoughtful. And, you know, our relationships weren't big, explosive, fiery kind of relationships. And so I tried to push her away. And then I realized how stupid I was. And I came back. Mm-hmm. Then I tried to push her away again just to make sure. And then I came back again. And so one day I was using the horrible stories from my childhood to impress her, because I had done that for years. And by the way, you're going to read all about them in the book. And she just looked at me. She was like, she wasn't impressed the way people usually were. She just looked at me and she said, you have to write a book. You have to. And she had, is just something about how she said it. She sort of cornered me. She pinned me. And I said, okay, I will. I didn't have anything left to say. So I went home that night and I started writing. And the book led to everything else.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have a copy of the book? Do you have a copy where you can show the folks?
Just a second. Just a second.
Okay. We're putting him on the spot, but he's not on the spot because this is something he wasn't prepared to do, but he's being so authentic with you. I want you to see the book. You can get a copy of the book. He's offered not to give you a chapter of the book, not to just give you a piece of the book, but he's offered to give you the entire book. What is the name of the book for those folks that are watching and listening right now?
It's called The Tao of the Unbreakable Man.
Yeah, why'd you pick that title, my man?
Well, because coming up, how I came up, mm-hmm. When I was younger, I had a very narrow definition of what strength was. Strength was being tougher. Strength was never crying. Strength was, being able to fight, being able to be hit without caving in, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people that live like that, I went into martial arts out of fear, totally out of fear. I learned how to look tough, act tough. I learned how to fight. And for me, fortunately, for whatever reason, the kind of spiritual journey didn't stop at those things. And so my conception of what being unbreakable means has had a real evolution to it. Like, I thought being unbreakable meant being as tough as an iron pole, right? And over time, I realized that being unbreakable really means more like learning how to be a reed, learning how to be a piece of bamboo, learning how to be flexible. The same wind that bends the reed over uproots the oak tree.
So powerful. If we can, this is before we go to the next segment. Do you mind taking a moment for the person out there that's writing, today is my January 1st. They're ready to get going with something new. They're ready to get on the stage. They're ready to speak. They're texting in the word showtime. Mm-hmm. We changed that so y'all would get it. Texting the word showtime to 202-999-3515, and you will get a copy of the free book. It's free. It's no cost. Mm-hmm. It's no cost to you. And we're going to post a link into the group as well. You do have to opt in, but that's fair. And I want you to get it. And I'm going to ask them, before I ask the question, if it's okay for you to share that link with someone else, because some of you have a tribe. Some of you have other folks in your network. Some of you have customers. And while you're watching the Happy Entrepreneur Show, and we appreciate you, we love every single one of you, hit the share button, and every single one of you who paid this message forward. I'm going to ask them, do they have your permission to take that link and share it with someone else as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. So he's giving away a whole free book, and you can now give the free book away as well. So if you were sitting there saying, "Share, I help people, but I don't have a gift," well, immediately today you can say, "Tell you what, you can go to this site, you can opt in, and you can get the book." And even though he gets the information, you're still giving value. That's so important. Mm-hmm. Here's my question before we go to the next segment. My question, I guess, would be, how does someone stay consistent? You heard it before that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. And having said that, what do most people struggle with? Well, they struggle with consistency. So what do you say to the person that needs to be consistent on their journey to be a speaker? The person needs to be consistent on their journey to be an entrepreneur. And the person needs to be consistent just in what they're doing in life. How does someone remain consistent, man? What's the secret?
Man, that's a tough question.
Well, that's why I asked you, man.
Yeah.
For your view of the world. We just want your view.
It would be so easy to give a one-dimensional answer. But look, consistency is tough. All right. But you're tougher. Hopefully your mission is bigger. So consistency is something I work on all the time. Still, I totally work on it all the time. I love to go start new things and then go start other new things and then go start other new things. And if I don't hand those things off to the right people, the right team, they just turn into nothing. So consistency, I think, it's discipline, but it's not discipline in the way people think. It's the internal discipline of checking yourself against whatever your goals and your values are. And the place that we forget is the place that we mess up, I should say, is we forget to check. That seems so simple, but it's a deep, deep, deep thing. You're going to have to come face to face with your mindset, your limiting beliefs, your emotions, everything in order to be consistent. Like it is maybe one of the most fundamental challenges of being an entrepreneur. Because as entrepreneurs, we love complexity. We're seduced by complexity. Complexity does not help you. Complexity is the little devil on your shoulder that whispers, "Look how cool you are. Look at all the things you're up to. Look at everything you've got going on." And it also says, "Don't look at your bank account and pay attention to the fact that you have no money." So like you got to develop the muscle of first of all knowing what you want to accomplish, and second of all checking what you're doing against that. And the way that it gets hard, Jay, the reason and the way that it gets hard is all of that stuff is negotiable. Like you're the boss. You can change it anytime you want. And so it's very, very easy to justify changes in direction. But for most of us, most of the time, those changes in direction wind up just costing us time and not making us money, not moving us closer to the goal line. Man. So like consistency is no joke, man. It's no wonder people struggle with it, right? We think it's this thing that we go, okay, I'm going to take this, put it in my toolkit. Now I'm consistent. It's a reflection of your deepest self.
Yeah. Powerful. With that being said, we're going to come back and go into the last segment. He's in double overtime. I think he's in triple overtime. I got to get the kind of relax. What? He's so fired up over there, man. This was unplanned, unscripted, man. He just said, "Hey, Shay, I'm here to have a conversation and let's help the people." That's what he said. Let's help folks out there. We come back. I'm going to ask him a few quick questions, and then we're going to have him give his final comments, his final thoughts. It's one of the segments that I love the most. I love every segment. But I love it when they give the final thoughts to empower and to inspire you, and that's his cue. And before we close out, he always gets to have those thoughts to help you out there. But he's giving away his book. Tell him the name of the book once again, if you would, please, and show him the book if you have it there in front of you. And you get a free copy. I did say free, F-R-E-E-E, free. Go ahead and show him the copy of the book.
Just 1 second.
Oh, okay. He's getting the copy of the book out. There it is, right there.
What? Let's get it centered.
Oh, hold on. He wants to get it centered. He's a professional. You know those guys.
There we go. There we go. There it is.
I should have got a copy and put the image up for you, but I want to make sure you guys see the book, The Unbreakable Man. Dial The Unbreakable Man. and you get a free copy. Text the word Showtime. He's going to send me the link after the show. I'm going to post a link into the group immediately after the show. If you listen to the podcast or online or other platforms, you can text the word Showtime to 202 999-3515. We're going to do that. We'll be back. We're closing out. We're coming down the home stretch. I'm going to go up to New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. Delano Johnson says, I refuse to live talented and broke. Well, I'll say one thing. If you're a speaker and you're working on the other side with Manny Wolfe, you won't be talented and broke. You have an opportunity to be on stages, and you have opportunity to be paid to do what you love. And isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day? Just serving and getting paid. We'll be back in just a moment. Take it away, my good friend Delano Johnson.
I live in a city where there are more creative people per square mile than any other place on the planet. The question is, how many of them are successful? How many are just like I was, talented and broke? Being broke is more than just not having money. It's failure to turn opportunities into profitable businesses and relationships that last. My mother always said, people perish for lack of knowledge. A compass takes you in the direction of your destiny, but knowledge of obstacles and distractions will ensure you arrive safely. My mentor once said to me, if I had half your talent, I'd have 4 times my wealth. Since then, I made a promise to God. If he would help me unlock my earning potential, I would pay it forward and help others do the same. That's why I wrote this book, because God made us too talented to live our lives broke. That includes you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country. We're on a mission to empower, to inspire, and to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all the resources you need that are necessary to execute the vision that you have for the people you are called to serve. And we're here with Manny Wolfe, the one and only person that works with visionaries and also coaches to get them on stage and get them paid so they can do what they love to do and impact more folks in the world and make some income, by the way, have more meaning in the world, and obviously make more money. And I know many of you are already saying, Shay, I'm just here to make a difference, and that's fine for you, but you can make $1 at the same time. And that's so, so true. Manny, first, let me just ask a couple questions in our rapid fire. This is when I ask a question and you take a minute or less an answer, and then we're going to have you give the final thoughts, man. I appreciate the overtime. We didn't know we would go this long, and so I appreciate it. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you're giving us the most precious resource that you have, which is your time. So we thank you for that. I guess the question I have is, of all the lessons you learned from mentors along your journey of life, what's one of the lessons that pops in your mind right now that you would share with us, the audience, that we could take away in our life? And there's so many lessons throughout your life, I'm sure.
Sure.
But what's one lesson you learned from a mentor?
So I think when we talk about lessons learned from mentors, we're talking about mindset stuff and things like that. I think it's important to understand that the foundational level of mindset, the humble concrete that the beautiful building is built on, is grittiness. Like getting up more than you fall. It's low tech. It's not sexy. It doesn't look good on a business card. It's not something that is cool to talk about at social gatherings. But the biggest thing I learned from mentors and from life was to do anything else, you're gonna have to be able to get back up.
I like that. There's so many different affirmations, and I'm always curious. What's one of the many affirmations or quotes or sayings that you tell yourself on a consistent basis to help feed your mindset? One of the things you'll learn about him when you go dig into and get into the book is that he really talks about mindset and personal branding. He really does. And so I'm curious, like, what does he tell himself? Like, what are some quotes or affirmation that he says to himself to keep him geared up, to keep him fired up, and keep him on the right path? So the question is, gave you some time to get ready, but seriously, the question is, what's one of your favorite affirmations that you say?
Yeah, I got affirmations that I go through every morning. I think one of the ones that I like the best is, let's see if I can get this exactly word for word. Basically, it goes, "I'm a fire breathing, Godzilla stomping, badass motherfucker."
Oh, jeez, I like that, and that's what you need to get going. It gets you fired up. I love it.
You know, I tried affirmations that were not in the way that I am and how I really speak, and they didn't quite feel
Like
right.
you.
And so I put a little stank on them, and I really like them a lot better now. You know,
Yeah.
and I am. I'm here to smash downtown Tokyo. I'm not screwing around. You know,
I love it. No, I love it. I love it. I love the mindset. What do you say to the person right now that's saying this is great, but Manny, I've been just hit in the face with a ton of bricks. Whether it's been they lost a big client, there's a setback. Maybe they're going through a divorce, that could be a setback.
Yeah.
There could be a health challenge in their life right now. Like, man, you don't understand. I've got this mountain to climb. So I guess the question is, what do you say to someone right now that's going through a challenge right now in their life? What words would you want to say to that person to help them keep going?
So you have to understand that, like, we're forged in the fire, right? The true, our character and our integrity and our essence of who we are is forged in the gauntlet of adversity. I mean, it really, really is. So sometimes I get people who try to say, like, well, I can't do what you did because of this and that challenge. To them, I'd say, read the book. I say, read the book. If, you know, I mean, the without knowing it, the best thing you can ever say to me now is that you don't think I had a brutal struggle. That's like the most amazing compliment somebody can give me, because that was no joke. You know, the stuff that I went through didn't take a few years to figure out. It was about a 45-year gauntlet.
Powerful. And I keep saying powerful because this is very powerful. How does one, this last question or second last question, how does one believe in themselves when no one else really does? Like how does someone find that space when no one else really believes that they can do what they can do, but they've got to believe in it for themselves? So how do you believe, I guess, and hold the belief when no one else really is believing in you?
It's a choice. It's our divine power of choice. I think the place where people sort of have a misunderstanding of that is, like, I think about, like, the first few years of getting sober. You know, when I had, or the first 2 months of quitting cigarettes, which I quit like 22 years ago, by the way. You have to, thank you. You have to make a commitment anew as often as you need to. I mean, there were literally days on end where I would just sit there and go 1 minute at a time. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to get high. I'm not going to go out and do some crime. I'm not going to whatever. I mean, I wasn't like addicted to doing crime. It just always seemed to be a byproduct of my lifestyle. But yeah, they teach us that in, I'm not a big AA, NA person now, but one of the best things I learned in there was, like, sometimes, you know, they say take it a day at a time. Sometimes you have to take it a breath at a time. And you choose over and over and over and over again. And guess what? You can make 10,000 choices in a row. It may seem like you can't, but you can. You know, I know this. Tony Robbins knows this. Viktor Frankl knows this. Like, everybody, David Goggins, David. He knows this. Jocko Willenick knows this. Like, everybody who has imposed their will on their circumstances knows this. You can make a choice in every breath. You can choose 3 times in a breath. But that's where people, I think, maybe don't understand. They feel like, I'm going to believe in myself. Like, you know, you wouldn't go, this is someone else's, but you wouldn't do sit-ups once to get a 6-pack, right?
Right.
You keep doing them over and over and over again. And I think that belief in ourselves when things are dark and hard, you have to understand that it's something you do over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And things do change. They always do change. Fantastic. Always.
Fantastic. So on point. Last question. what does Manny do for fun when he's not out saving the world, speaking on stage and doing what he's doing now? Everybody's got to be curious. Like, what does this guy just do for fun when no one's watching?
Honestly, outside of my work, my life is pretty tame. It's like I never thought I'd be the guy who enjoyed such a level of simplicity, but I really, really do. Like I like to play my bass guitar. I like to exercise. You know, I like to go for walks with my wife. Like my life is not flashy, man. It is not flashy. And I like it like that, right? Because I had all that. I had the explosive excitement. I had the craziness. We had a party house when I lived in Chico, California, that got its reputation spread all the way up to Oregon and all the way down to literally down to Mexico. Mm. We had people that would come up to party at our house because they heard about it. Wow. This is before the internet and everything. Like I know what that lifestyle is about, and I just don't need it anymore.
Fantastic. Well, what I'd like for you to do, if you can, I appreciate let me say thank you for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for giving. For those folks that want to connect with him, he says, look, the best way to connect with him is through his book, which he has. You can get a copy of the book, not a chapter, okay? Yeah, not a summary, okay? The guy's giving away the whole freaking book. And you can do that by texting the word Showtime to the number 202-999-3515. I'm going to get the link. I'm going to post a link tonight directly into the group as well over at happyentrepreneurstribe.com. And some of you are going to pick it up. And then all others, you're going to get the text immediately to you. And even if you're getting a hold of this long lost video file for whatever reason, you're watching it like, wow, this is pretty cool. Could I still get it? Well, text in. And I'll send the link, and if the link is still valid, then it's there. He didn't say this is one of those where you got to do it the next 30 minutes or you don't get it. He says, no, man. He's here to serve and he's here to give, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much, man, for having a heart to give, for having a heart to serve, for staying in what I would call triple overtime since you're an athlete, man. This is like triple overtime that we're in. Yeah. But I want you to have your final thoughts. Take a minute or two, whatever you need to close out those folks that are watching right now. Some folks that are watching are doing really, really well. And they've got to keep it going. And they don't understand the more successful you are, the more pressure there are. And others of you have to come up to speed. So it's a wide audience. But whatever your final thoughts is, your message, I want to say thank you on behalf of the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you. Definitely going to have you back. And thank you, Eric Swanson, for connecting us, by the way. He's with Habitude Warrior Conference. Great guy, man. Fantastic guy, and just a big giver as well. So over to you, man, for your final thoughts. Thanks a lot, man. You are truly amazing. You're awesome, and you're inspiration to all of us that are watching right now and had a chance to hear this message.
Well, thank you for having me again, and thank you, everyone, for participating and being so engaging and everything. Reach out to me on Facebook if you want to. If we're not friends already and you send me a friend request, just make sure to also send me a message saying where you heard me, because I get lots of friend requests every day, and I can't take most of them because I just don't have room. But I will take friend requests from people who are connecting with me after hearing me on an interview. And I don't know, famous last words. Time flies like an arrow and fruit flies like a banana.
I love it. Those are your final comments for those folks that are out there. Thank you for joining. Do me a favor as you're tuning in. Look right below the video. And write the words, today is my January 1st. Because you can be paid to be on stages. Today is your January 1st. You can have the right mindset when you connect with Manny Wolfe to do the things you need to do. Today is my January 1st. Yeah, this is my time to step up. And if you need help in the personal branding, make sure you connect with the man, Manny Wolfe, over there. Thank you for joining. Hit the share button one more time. And why do I say that?
Yeah, please.
Pay the message forward, because we believe in the giver's economy. The giver's economy says the person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. Let me say that again. The person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. So hit the share button, hit the watch party button, and tell them, look, this message is for you. This is your time. With that being said, for those folks that are wondering who in the LL Cool J is talking, that's me. My name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I wish you all success. Thanks a lot, Manny. You rock. promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you. God bless.